There's this idea in the minimalism community known as your fantasy self. Basically, your fantasy self is the person you want to be, or at least the person you want to be perceived as by others that doesn't necessarily align with the person that you actually are deep down. For example, your fantasy self might be the kind of person who gets up at 6 o'clock in the morning, downs a green juice, and heads straight out for a run. And that may not actually be how you are at all, but maybe it's the person that you strive to be in your heart. And so you decide that you're going to pursue the materialistic elements that would be involved in that kind of lifestyle. So maybe you go and you buy yourself an expensive juicer and fill your fridge full of organic produce, and then get yourself a nice workout outfit to wear on these runs that you plan to go on. But in reality, that's probably not who you actually are. Maybe you actually hate green juice. Maybe you're the type of person who likes to sleep in and tends to reach for their phone first thing in the morning and lie in bed scrolling on social media for an hour. And so minimalism teaches us to declutter our fantasy self, by which that means letting go of and breaking up with that person that exists in our mind but not in our reality, and subsequently letting go of all of the physical possessions that would support that lifestyle that we don't actually live. To let go of the mindset that causes us to sign up for workout classes that we're not actually going to attend, and to buy books that we never actually wind up reading, or to buy clothes that we don't actually wind up wearing. I made a video in the past called When to Upgrade. I'm going to link it above here as well as in the description box down below. If you haven't seen it already, please go ahead and check it out. In that video, I talk about how to know when it actually makes sense to upgrade something, when actually buying something new will add value to your life, versus when you're just pandering to your fantasy self's simple monkey brain. So definitely go and check it out and let me know your thoughts. I think there's a tremendous difference between the person that you actually want to be versus the person you just want to be perceived as. Straight up, if you're doing things, if you're making your life decisions based on what you think other people are going to think, you need to cut that shit out right now. Like, seriously, grow up. Here's some tough love for you. Sorry to have to say this, but nobody cares. Nobody cares what time you wake up. Nobody cares if you eat really healthy or if you eat like a sewer rat. Nobody cares what kind of clothes you wear. You should be making those decisions because they're the right decisions for you, not because you think other people are going to be impressed by them or that people are going to make a certain positive judgment about you based on them. But if your fantasy self is truly who you fantasize about wanting to become, I don't think you should declutter or abandon that idea at all. If you aspire to live a lifestyle that's different from the one you're currently living, then you should absolutely do that, but only if your intentions are pure and only if it's actually going to benefit you and if it's what you actually want for yourself. That doesn't mean going out and buying yourself a bunch of fancy shit to clutter your house and try to impress other people with. It means taking control of your life and allowing yourself to actually grow into the person that you've always wanted to be. Whether that actually involves the style of clothing that you wear, or the hobbies you participate in, or the way that you take care of your health and your eating habits, that's up to you. And so in this video, I'm going to give you 4 simple steps of how you can actually grow into your fantasy self and become the person you've always wanted to be and live the life you've always wanted to live. Here's how you do it. The first step is to know your why. Ask yourself why you want to be the person you want to be. Ask yourself what your end goal is and what you're trying to accomplish. If you're trying to be healthier or lose weight or get ripped, those are good reasons to pursue a more active lifestyle. Do you want to get more done in a day? Well, if so, then yeah, maybe that's a good reason to try to get up a little bit earlier. Know your why and know exactly what your fantasy lifestyle has that your current life is missing. For me personally, my fantasy self wakes up earlier than I actually do, spends more time outdoors than I actually do, and has more time to pursue hobbies and passion projects and creative endeavors. And the reason why is for better mental health, stress reduction, and to be able to spend more time doing the things that leave me feeling fulfilled. Step number 2 is to identify your roadblocks. What is it about your current lifestyle that prevents you from doing the things you want to do and being the person you want to be? Is it a lack of hours in the day? Is it a lack of money? Is it a lack of physical energy? Is it poor mental health? Maybe it's all of the above. But ask yourself what exactly is stopping you from doing those things right now. In my case, I think the thing that prevents me from waking up earlier and pursuing more of the things that I enjoy is my job. I have a really physically demanding job. I work a lot of hours every week, and when I come home at the end of the day, it's late and I'm completely physically and mentally exhausted. And so much so that even on my days off, it's hard for me to convince myself to get up and do things. When you're dead tired, even the things that you love are not that appealing to you because you're spent. And that leads us to step number 3, which is to ask yourself how you can overcome these roadblocks. What do you need to do to defeat these obstacles and live your best life? So if in your case it's a lack of time that is acting as your biggest roadblock, then yeah, maybe it makes sense to wake up just a little bit earlier. If it's a lack of money, maybe it's time to ask for a raise or consider picking up a second job or starting a side hustle. If it's poor mental health, then maybe the first step is to look into therapy and try to get yourself back on track. For me personally, feeling that my job is the biggest cock blocker of my fun, the things that I plan to do are to reduce my hours at least a little bit, to more importantly try to take on less physically demanding tasks and reserve a little bit more of my energy for my personal time. And most substantially, I'm trying to pursue FIRE, but I'll make a video about that another day. So now you know why you want to live the life you want to live. We've figured out what it is that's getting in your way, and we've made a plan to overcome those obstacles. So what do we do now? Step number 4 is you just have to do the work. Whoever you dream of being, whatever you dream of doing, the most important step is the first one, even if it's really small and a little bit wobbly. If you're someone who currently buys lunch out every day, for example, but your fantasy self is someone who's much more frugal and financially disciplined and spends the weekend doing meal prep and then bringing your lunches with you to work, maybe a good first step is to commit to just making one lunch at home per week, or maybe even one lunch at home per month. Start small and allow yourself to become inspired by your own progress. But the key to your fantasy self being a tool for personal growth rather than just a way to clutter your house is to not use it as an excuse to go and make new purchases if you don't have to. Rather than wasting money and cluttering your home and staying stagnant, just use what you already have for starters. Resist the urge to go out and buy yourself those fancy bento box containers and a fancy set of knives if you've never made a single lunch at home in the last 2 years. Once you've successfully kickstarted a new habit, then take the opportunity to upgrade the things you have to support the lifestyle that you're now starting to live. Shopping doesn't change who you are, but the dream of a happy life isn't something you should declutter. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and hit the like button. I'm pretty new here on YouTube, and every like and comment that this video gets helps me out tremendously. Please also make sure to subscribe. I want to give a big hello and a big thank you to everybody who checked out my minimalist home tour video I posted a few weeks ago. That video kind of blew up for me, at least by my standards. Like I said, I'm a pretty new, pretty small-time YouTuber, and that video to date has almost 2,000 views, which for me is kind of a big deal. So thank you so much for watching. Hello to all of my new subscribers. For anybody who hasn't yet done so, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to this channel. I make content about minimalism, personal finance, investing, lifestyle design, and a whole bunch of other cool things. So definitely hit subscribe so you can stay in the loop about all the new videos I post. The concept of a fantasy self is something that I find absolutely fascinating. I know that there's some other people who have made videos on the topic as well, but I would love to know your thoughts. So please, by all means, leave me a comment down below and let me know what your thoughts are. Do you have a fantasy self? And if so, who is that person? How are they different from your current self? And why do you want to achieve the things you want to achieve? Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate your time. Again, make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, leave me a comment. It all helps me out so much, and I will see you guys in the next video. I actually don't mind kale at all. Tastes pretty good.